My name is Shayla, and today I am here to do a video for you. Oh wait, I forgot something. Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, so today's video is going to be a book unhaul. I recently went through my books to reorganize them, and I realized that there are some books in my collection that I know I'll never read again, and I know my husband won't want to read, so it's time to just get rid of them because I am running out of room on my shelves. So I've got a little over 20 books here. I think I've got 23 that I plan on donating to my local library. That's what I like to do with my books that I'm getting rid of because I have a small library, and at the very least they can sell these to get more money for the books that they want to get, or they can put them on their shelves as their choice. So let's just dig right in here since there's plenty. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these books just because I'm getting rid of them. If they're one of your favorites, I'm sorry. No offense. I just didn't enjoy these. So let's just get into it. First up is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This book wasn't what I was expecting it to be, and I really didn't end up enjoying it. There were some things that happened that really bothered me that were unnecessary, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Next up is The Queen Geek Social Club. And this one was one I got for $1 on a whim. I thought it would be fun. It is definitely a very trope-filled YA contemporary. If you like those kind of books, go ahead and pick this up. But it's just not floating my boat, not worth keeping. I wouldn't read it again. Next up is A Walk to Remember. I like the book better than I liked the movie, but I picked this up like 2 years ago and I have yet to read it, so clearly I'm not going to read it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Next up is Assassin's Apprentice. Now, don't scream and cry. I have another copy, so this is just a duplicate, and that's why I'm sending it off. Next up is Shopaholic Ties the Knot. I read a Sophie Kinsella book, really didn't like it, didn't enjoy the writing, so I decided to get rid of the Shopaholic books I have. I have one more in this haul, and it'll come by in a minute, but yeah, decided to get rid of my Sophie Kinsella. Next up is Midnight in Austenland. Austenland was great. Midnight in Austenland felt like a ripoff, and she was trying too hard to make it as good as the first one, and no. Next up is Serendipity. I picked this up at a library book sale a couple of years ago. Haven't had any desire to touch it, so it's time to let it go. Confessions of a Shopaholic, the other Sophie Kinsella book I'm getting rid of from the Shopaholic series, so no explanation needed. Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. This is the Sophie Kinsella book I read and didn't really enjoy, so I'm going to go ahead and purge it. Next up is The Huntress. Again, this is one I picked up at a library book sale, and I've had it for a couple years and haven't touched it. It was the same one as that other book, so it's time to get rid of it. Next up is If You Only Knew by Kristen Higgins. This is a newer book. It deals with divorce. Being a divorced woman, I thought I would really enjoy it, but it was just too trope-filled when you think of divorces, so it was just time for me to send this on. Next up is It Started With Paris by Kathy Kelly. Kind of the same scenario as the last one. It's dealing with a divorced person, and again, the tropes, and I had to put it down. I couldn't finish it, so I'm getting rid of it. Next up is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I got the 10th anniversary edition where it's the double-sided book, so I don't need this old worn paperback anymore. Next up is Miranda's Big Mistake. Again, this is that library sale where I ended up picking up books that I didn't end up reading, so it's time for me to purge it. Next is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. I read this. I didn't enjoy it. It's time for me to get rid of it because I will never read it again. If you are interested, go ahead and watch the little mini-series. If you like it, then pick up the book, but I thought this was trying too hard to be a classic, and it just wasn't working for me. Next up is Queen of Hearts. Again, that library sale. I thought I would read all those books, and I didn't read any of them. So this is one of those where I'm purging it because I haven't read it. Next up is Irises, and surprise, that library book sale. I got most of these books in a bag. I spent $5 on all the books. At least I supported the library, and they're gonna go back to a library, so there you go. Next up is Vidalia in Paris. Again, library book sale, no explanation needed. Next up is Soundless by Rochelle Mead. If you guys saw my book talk on this book, you know exactly why I'm getting rid of it, and I don't need to talk about it. Next up is Dream Factory. Again, this is one from that same library book sale, but I did end up reading this, and it was just okay, so I'm not going to read it again, and so I'm going to go ahead and purge it. Next up is Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. Before you get all, like, bent out of shape about it, I own the whole entire series on my Kindle, and I only own this one in a physical copy. So I'm going to go ahead and purge this. If I decide to own the physical copies of this series, I'll just buy a whole set together, and so this would end up being purged anyway. Next up is The Help by Catherine Stockett. This is one where I enjoyed the movie just as much as I enjoyed the book, and I'm more likely to watch the movie again than read the book again. So I'm just going to let this book go and let somebody else enjoy it. And the last book in this haul is Elixir by Hilary Duff. I read this book, and it was just meh. I loved the cover. The cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I kept it for a long time because the cover is gorgeous, but I'm just never going to read this book again, and it was just an okay book. It's not one I'm pulling up and recommending all the time, so it's time to let this one go. Okay, guys, those are all the books I'm getting rid of in this book haul. If you've recently done a book haul, let me know some of the books that you've gotten rid of recently, or if you need to do an unhaul, list some of the books that you would want to get rid of. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.